Hey everybody, this is Tom. Welcome back to the Lost Miner YouTube channel. In the last video, we talked about how to do a layout for your foundation. Now we're going to talk about how to do your foundation, specifically concrete piers. So for our next build, we're going to use concrete piers. There's other ways you can do it. For our last two glamp sites that we built the domes on, we used we used a product called Fast 2K. It's a product that makes a foam, and it's basically just a lightweight bag. It's got the chemicals in it. You mix it up after you dig your hole, and then set your post. You just pour it in there, and you're done. I could do that again on this one. Because we're building in the desert, the sun just absolutely eats wood up. And whenever we've done all of our construction with wood, and we paint it to help protect it and get some, more life out of it. But I could use the Fast 2K again and just do the post that way. But I really also want to learn how to do concrete piers using sonotubes. And I know that it's just concrete does really well out in the desert as opposed to wood. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to show, we're going to walk through some videos seeing how different people have done it. And we'll talk about what my plans are for making my concrete piers. All right, guys. First thing I want to talk about is using rebar versus not using rebar or other materials. So I've always wondered, whenever you're working with concrete, why do people put rebar in it? It seems like it would hold together just fine. There's this guy, Mike Haddock, Masonry, and he's got a really good YouTube channel. So if anything you want to learn about working with concrete, this is a really good source of information. This guy's, most of his life, he's worked in masonry, and so he's got a lot of really good information. Anyway, I thought this was a really good, interesting video right here, and he talks about that very question. Someone asked, when do you use rebar? When do you use this, wire material sometimes he'll use? And he kind of explains why.
Sometimes I see you putting rebar. Oh, when to put rebar or wire into concrete?
All right, so this is the question.
Because sometimes I see you putting rebar or wire into sidewalks or concrete. Why and when and where do you use it? So it's a good question. So to answer this, we got to go back in time. When you see my videos on the pyramids of Egypt or the Great Wall or Monte Picchu or the castles in Europe, there was no rebar. Everything was stone and cement and stone. And then before World War II, basically they came out with concrete and they started adding rebar to it. Now, to build modern buildings and skyscrapers, when the Industrial Revolution came around, they started using steel. And today, basically, I say they're still experimenting with it because, as you know, and I know, that rebar eventually rusts and it expands and it breaks the concrete apart. Now, if you basically have to go on a job and it says on the plans to put rebar in, you got to put it in. There are two examples I always show. I took this out of a footer that was poured in 1972. It's rotted. And this one, you can see where it expanded. And when it expands, it breaks the concrete. Pennsylvania. For bridges, and we're going to come down here. This is the bottom of the bridge. Look at the metal. Look at the concrete. Oh, the metal knocks it all apart.
All right, so this is really interesting. Okay, basically, I recommend, if you're curious, watch this video. I'm not going to show any more. I just kind of wanted to show you just a clip kind of what his opinion of it was. For the longest time in history, people would not, there was no rebar or anything like that put in the, in concrete. And even in the modern times, we started using it. And yeah, I guess the experts saw that by putting the rebar into the concrete, gives it something to hold on to, and structurally, I guess, makes it stronger, I guess. But eventually, it appears for a lot of applications where you have rebar and concrete, it actually just messes it up over the long term because the rebar ends up rusting and then busting apart the concrete. So really, what does it achieve? I don't know. So anyway, I'm going to use some rebar, but I'm going to use, and he talks about it, there's different types of material. In summary, he says that he only uses rebar if for permitting requirements. So if the drawings for permitted structure say to put rebar, if he's doing that job, he puts rebar in it. And it appears if he's doing anything, for himself, he'll either put some or not put some. Anyway, interesting video. For doing the concrete piers, dig your holes. One thing that you're going to have to keep in mind, I'm not having to deal with any kind of permitting requirements. There's no permitting requirements where I'm building. And we don't have a frost line either down there on the border with Mexico. So I can dig it, pretty much however deep I want to dig it. Depending on where you may be building, though, likely you've got permitting requirements you have to deal with. But on top of that, you've got to get down below the frost line. So if you're trying to do concrete piers and you don't dig down deep enough below the frost line, when that ground freezes up in the winter, it's going to literally push your foundation upwards and do some damage. So basically kind of showing you how it's done. I found this YouTube channel. This is Sam Craft right here. We check in on what he's doing.
Concrete is in the tube. We have poked it and got out all the air bubbles that we can.
Okay, so I'm guessing he's doing a permitted structure and he has to use rebar.
Use this other piece to push it in a little way.
And as you can see, he's already used the concrete mixer to mix up his concrete and pour it into the sonotubes. And if you look there at the layout, you can see where he did a layout, like I was teaching you guys how to do in the previous video.
Almost like to give myself some time. I don't know if it makes a difference or not. So this is staying like it is. We're going to fill up the next.
All right, so basically he didn't build a cage. He just put the rebar down in there, and he's going to talk about it. He actually did fiberglass rebar, so you don't have to. He can actually push it down, even if it goes into the dirt below it. It's okay because it's not a material that's going to cause any rust. So I don't believe I'm going to make a cage or anything, and I'm going to show you guys what a cage looks like. I'm likely just going to do what he did, and it's a very light structure. 200 square foot A-frame is what I'm going to build, so it's not very heavy. So I'm just going to do like he did and get some the fiberglass rebar. I could even get steel around the desert. It's not much rain. I'm sure it'll last a long time, but anyway, I'm just going to push some, maybe 4 pieces down into the concrete. So if you're watching this and you've got a lot of experience doing this, let me know your comments below.
As you can see,
on what you think.
Kind of interesting in my hands. Yes, this looks like rebar.
Okay, so this is the.
It is rebar, and yes, it is pink. This is fiberglass rebar.
Okay, so it's fiberglass rebar that he's using, like I said.
Steel rebar, but they also.
Okay, now you can look at what he's using to put on top of the concrete pier. So while it's wet, you just wait for the concrete to firm up a little bit, and then you go ahead and then set. There's different types of attachment mechanisms, different types of anchors that you can use. So you can see the type he has. Actually, this is really interesting.
To be wet set in concrete, and have your beam rest on top.
Yeah.
This is what attached to your wood framing member.
So I actually really like that type that he's using. You can see how it's got that the shape of the anchor points on each side. So when you dip down and that concrete solidifies, it's not going anywhere. And in this type of bracket, there's no hole in the middle where you actually secure it down to the concrete with a bolt. I don't know. I'm sure this type does just fine, but I'm building an A-frame, and that's a lot of surface where it acts like a cell, and it gets really windy out there in the desert where we're located. So one thing I'm worried about is, could it get strong enough to where it actually rips that, out of the concrete? I doubt it, but I don't know.
Install my beam to concrete brackets, line it up with my string line, and just walk away.
Okay, so here you can see that he went ahead and centered it up by running his line across the center point in his pier, and then he's just setting it in there and then just letting it dry. I like it. I may use these type of brackets for mine.
The last one.
Okay, so you can see how Sam Craft did it, and he's got a lot of really good content, guys. So I'd recommend checking out his channel. Could just to compare the information, you may see something that on his channel that you like and may want to try. Okay, so here's a Sonotube concrete pier. This is on the NC Barndo build channel. So you can see that he actually made a cage out of rebar, and he's using these chairs at the very bottom. Those are rebar chairs to keep it up off the ground. So after he puts that inside the hole, puts that cage down in there, it's going to keep the rebar off the ground, so that it's not touching the dirt, to keep it from rusting.
I'll show you guys how I'm building these. They're really easy. The first thing we're going to do here is cut our vertical pieces of rebar. We're going to cut these at...
So if you're curious about how he built the cage, I recommend just going on to his channel, NC Barndo Build. Check it out. You can see how he built those cages if that's something you're interested in learning out how to do. Like I said, I think I'm building a very small, very light structure, so I think I'm not gonna worry about doing a cage. And you know, when you look back at the first video I showed on why do you use rebar in the first place, I don't know that I'm doing anything that's actually really helping it be more structurally sound. I don't know. But anyway, just to err on the side of caution, I'm just gonna throw a little 4 rods of rebar into my concrete piers. Okay, guys, this is Devin Lerop. I hope I'm pronouncing his last name right. And this is he's got a really good channel, guys. And I had actually heard about his build. He's done really well in this space and the kind of the experiential hospitality space. So through his channel, you can watch him do his builds. He built what's called the Pacific Bend. It's done extremely well. So he's building a 400-foot tiny house. And this one, you can see in the back there where he's using an auger attachment. It looks like on a skid steer or some type of machine to dig his holes. Our ground is typically out there in the Big Bend area. It's so hard that you basically got to use a demolition hammer to dig your hole. But I think I've got an area where we're going to build our A-frames to where it's actually soft enough to where I can use, I think I'm going to just rent a handheld auger to try and dig the holes. Now look at the type of bracket that he's using, the anchor point. So he's going to be laying his beams across those piers, and this is where you got basically a bolt that you can set down into the concrete, and then you putting your beam across there, and then the bolts going through your beam and securing it there. I actually like this. One thing I like, you can see this nut down there at the base. This is so you can actually make fine adjustments. So if you don't have it perfectly level, then you can kind of make some adjustments there to get your bracket level. So I really like that feature on what he's using.
I'll come back, level everything one more time before I start standing walls, so I'm not tweaking the home around. So before I get going, I'll give you guys a little rundown on all the supplies that I'm going to be using. The 500-pound dingo with a 12-inch auger for drilling the holes.
That is a very cool machine.
5,000 psi concrete. I will absolutely be needing more, but I'll let you know how many it takes to pour these 12 4-foot piers. Wheelbarrow that I'm about to become really good friends with, because
I'd recommend checking out his channel, guys, and watching his builds.
So I'm going to build off this way and that way to line up all the...
So you see he ran a line, some masonry line through the center point of his as well.
This one, and then 8 feet off of this way and pack everything back down again. Last time I had to run down to the river like a half mile.
Yeah, it must be nice having water going to your property like that. On the desert, that's a challenge for us. Okay, I'm sorry, he did not use a... Wow, okay, I thought he used a concrete mixer. He didn't. So that's... I think I'm gonna use a concrete mixer. You see, he mixed it all up by hand. I mean, it's tough. So
two really important things here. One, with these
I can watch him set his anchor in there.
That the bolt is maybe like an inch from the bottom here. That way, when I wet set it down, over time as things settle and adjust, I have like this whole stretch of threads to be able to adjust. It's obviously not going to settle down that far, but most likely I'll need to do like a 1/4 to a 1/2 inch adjustment over time. Then I line up down the string line right here. It looks like that's my center line, so I'm going to wet set that right in here. Actually, I think I made that concrete a little too wet. Alright, I'm going to refinish that, let it cure up for a little bit.
Okay, you saw that, so you might run into that actually, where you got it too wet and it just sinks in. So you got to let it firm up a bit so it doesn't your anchor doesn't sink.
Way for you guys to try to fit it. And then I put the new mic back in. So like 15 more bags of concrete, just estimating how many from before I dropped off the dingo.
Okay, I want to show you one more type of anchor and then we'll wrap up the video. Okay, here's a concrete pier that's already been poured. And he's not securing a beam directly on it. As you can see, he actually has a post. And then I guess his beams he's doing on top of his post. So you can see what kind of anchor he's got there. All right, I really like this one as well. So I don't know. I've shown you guys a few options. I'm going to take a look at them. I really don't know which type I'm going to use. I really like that one because you're actually bolting it down to the concrete. And I guess the first style that I showed you on the Sandcraft channel, it's got those attachments that sink down in there on each side, those flaps, which there's probably no way that those are going to come out either. Anyway, there's several options there for you too. So I'm going to go ahead and end it there, guys. If you got any value out of this video, please go ahead and like, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you don't miss any episodes coming up. If you're watching this and you have experience making concrete piers, working with rebar versus not putting in a rebar in your concrete, let me know your comments below in the below. Also, welcome along on this journey as we finish our builds. If you're new to this channel, like I said at the beginning, I've built 2 glamping sites so far. We're on the 2nd one, but it's long from being fully built out. So we're going to do some camping A-frames coming up here, and in these videos we're just kind of reviewing some of the things that I need to know and learn, and hopefully providing some good information for you guys if you're looking to build something yourself, maybe even build a glamping site like I'm doing. So we can learn together, and you guys can watch me actually do it in the field. So that's it. Take care, guys. See you in the next video.